Hey there, I want to come today and make a important video, an update video, and just help people be more informed. I guess that's my whole goal of making videos is just trying to share information. So today that's what I want to do, and I want to address or talk about my Nitto NT555R rear tires, my drag radial tires is what they classify these. And just touch base with you. So here we go. Okay, what I want to talk about today is the launch performance of these tires. I just want to be upfront with people. I've made a couple of previous videos where I talked about them very highly and that they provided amazing traction, okay? So here's where I want to clarify and come in and correct today. The last tune that I had was a Jotech tune, and it was their turn down tune. So with that being stated, that's when I was launching the car as hard as I could, and it was not experiencing much wheel spin with these tires on the car. So now I'm Hussein race box tuned, and the performance is turned back up, and I am now experiencing wheel spin. But there's more to that. These are still really good tires. I really like these tires, and I want to clarify because some people get confused. These are not canyon carving tires. They're not corner tires for taking corners at high speed. These are drag radial tires, so they offer a lot of grip right off the line. And the sidewall is designed for maximum traction, presumably on the street and the drag strip. So these are not tires you want to buy to drive around a racetrack fast in corners, and buy to take to the mountains and carve the corners. So just want to clarify that. But these are straight line performance tires. Okay, and also I want to mention that I'm not the ultimate tester. I'm not the guy that does everything possible to try to get something to perform. I do to a degree, but that's extra wear and tear on the car, just sitting for hours upon hours, just ripping 0 to 60s or 0 to 80s. And so I try to knock stuff out the best I can in a short amount of time. So with that said, the more times you race the car, the more times you're going to wear your tires out. And I want these to last. These were about $700 together. And I don't just want to sit there and do burnouts and do 0 to 60 launches and smoking the tires, because, ultimately that'll shorten the lives of the tires, where if I do it smartly, then I can preserve the tires and have them for longer. But I have experimented with different tire pressure. I've gone down from 35 to about 32 to about 30, down to 27, down to 25, and probably close to 23. So, and I can't tell a big difference, with launching the car and getting the tire spin, if it's making a big difference. But I don't do smoky burnouts. Maybe that would help, but a big smoky long burnout, obviously that's going to shorten the life of the tires, doing that, but maybe give me an advantage, in that area. But I'm just not willing to just do that to the tires over and over again, every new day or new, time passes, give them a burnout to heat them up. But I do try to drive them around and put some heat in them. But other than that, they're awesome tires. And I just want to share what I think the downfall, it's not a downfall because this car is not meant to be a drag car or a race car, is that it goes back to the limited slip differential. And I've got so much more experience now with this car, 2 different tunes, and trying to launch this car over the last year and a half. And it's really tricky. You can put it in traction control, or you can take traction control off. I'm not a big supporter of traction control, because all traction control is doing is it's just backing off the power. So it's robbing you of power. Of course, you're not getting wheel spin, but you're not taking full advantage of your car's capability with horsepower, because it's taking away power. And so you've got to have your full power to go as fast as you can. So that's just a real big, I mean, you know, not something that I like to do. But if you're limited and you have to go as fast as you can, and you know you're going to break your wheels or lose traction, you know, then traction control is you know, your best choice. But I think the better choice is to try to tune the car so that you don't need traction control and just have it on that ragged edge so that you can use as much power as you can. Also too, people that don't own this car, and I would say that, you know, maybe 80% of the people that look at my videos don't have a 3.0T, and they don't understand how this 3.0T works. But the boost comes on almost immediately, and it's at like 18 PSI right off the bat. So, you know, it's 2,000, 2,500 RPM. It's a full 18 pounds of boost. You know, it's just no tire is going to hold up to that. Okay, and it's even compounded because this car has an open differential, and all the 3.0Ts have open differentials from 2016 up to 2021. They just have open differentials. So one tire is predominantly spinning. The other tries to catch up as it applies the brakes, but off the line you're using one tire. And with 500 horsepower and 500 torque, almost instant torque, one of these Nitto tires is just not going to provide you the traction that you need. It's just asking too much. And these are, let me tell you, these are 275 width, 19-inch wheels. So the only alternative now that I have be able to come to you and tell you now, from having this and doing all these launches and all this racing around, is that really the only way to get this rear-wheel drive, now the four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive guys, it's a whole different scenario. They seem to be able to hook up, even though they're predominantly spinning one rear wheel and one front wheel, because they have the same open differential. They just have the all-wheel drive, so it's distributing one tire that has traction in the back to a tire to the front, and that just seems to make all the difference in the world. It gets those guys into the threes, where I'm stuck at about 4.1 to 4.3, 0 to 60, because I just can't get the traction to the ground, and the all-wheel drive just makes that much difference to get these guys into the, you know, into the middle to the high threes, or more of the high threes. So I just want to bring that to you. It's the all-wheel drive that makes a difference. So rear-wheel drive pretty much just means we're kind of screwed. But, you know, if you want to, you can buy a limited slip differential. That is probably the difference. With my luck, I would spend the $1,600 to $2,000 and get the limited slip differential, and then I'd still be in the same situation. But in theory, the limited slip differential is going to be the difference of this car being in the low fours to the high threes, because that's going to allow both the wheels to process the power from the engine. And this is it's just an inferior, I mean, it's not set up to be a drag car or a race car, so I understand that, but to go fast, I'm going to need to buy a limited slip differential. That is where I am now at, and I've determined, you know, instead of beating myself up trying to get into the threes, it's just not going to be feasible, you know, except on maybe the best of days, and maybe when it gets, you know, 40 degrees outside. But then, you know, the concrete's not going to be as warm, and it's going to be a traction issue again. This last time that I ran this car, I ran it on black asphalt, and black asphalt is by far the most superior surface for traction. And then I've got a little video I shot here of where I did my 0 to 60s with launch control, and we can see that right here. These are my tire marks right here, and they go on, and here are my next tire marks, and they just burn out for about 20 feet, you know, 10 feet, 10, 15, 20 feet, I'm not real sure. What I ended up having to do, and sorry the sun's just right here in my video or in my eyes, is I had to just get out of the throttle and feather the throttle, and I found that on this Q50 3.0T, when you feather the throttle, man, the RPMs just drop it's either on or off, and the tires, I can see in the data logs that it just drastically, man, it just falls off. I mean, when you let off the throttle, it's hard to feather. It just goes from 100% down to like 50%, and then it just throws the car off, and then you step back in it and boost kicks in, and then it's just not a good scenario. So yeah, I just wanted to bring this to you. Busy road that I'm on again. Now that we're back, I just want to talk about, again, these are really great tires, by far the best tires I've had. It's just too much power and too quickly, too abruptly, and that's just causing, that one tire to spin, and then the other one, it's just one tire. So we just got to come to grips with that, and not everybody's going to know this, so I just want to bring this out. With launch control, I've been working with Hussein briefly on his launch control, and I'm not really pleased with launch control at this point, because I am applying the brakes, full brakes, pumping them up a little bit and applying them 100%, and then I am dropping the throttle, and typically it ramps up to about 23.5, 24.4. and then I hold it, and then I release, and if I have traction control off, it just lights them up. It just spins them as soon as I let off the brake. So, that's just too much power again, and not enough time, and it's just boiling the tires. So then I have also tried with traction control on, and then I do get some burnout and some wheel slip for a little while, and then then it pulls power, traction control comes on. So I'm not real happy with the traction control and the launch control at this time. I'm actually being able to produce better 0 to 60s by just foot braking it, and having the car ramped up foot braking to about 1,300, 1,500 RPMs, maybe 1,700 RPMs, and then releasing the brake and kind of having to slightly modulate the pedal just a little bit. Because if you back off too much, the car just shuts off. The power just drops, and then you step back onto it, and then it jumps way back into it, and it just disrupts the car. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to even continue with traction control. With launch control at this point, because I am having better times in the 4.0, 4.1 second 0 to 60s. So. And that's by foot braking. So launch control I'm seeing is about 4.3, maybe once, 4.4, 4.5 second 0 to 60. And that's, obviously I'm doing better with my foot braking at 4.0 and 4.1. So with that said, yeah, I just want to bring you this information on these tires, because before I just mentioned how great they were. Full bore, I could lay all the power down I could, and the tires were gripping, and obviously that was the tune difference with the Jotech tune, with that turned down tune at the around 400 wheel horsepower and about 460, 470 torque, and now I'm obviously with Hussein's race box tune back up to about the 500 horsepower and maybe a little over 500 torque, rear wheel torque. So yeah, a whole different scenario again now, and I didn't really analyze that information before, why I was being able to apply 100% of the throttle and not get much wheel spin, but now it's a totally different story. So, but these are great tires, 275. A couple of people have come online and told me that they have 305s and 315s, but you can see by my tire here that when this tire moves up, and this is only about 1.5 inches or 2 inches, that when it comes in, it's almost hitting my fender. It's not quite, right there, but it's maybe just a couple of millimeters from hitting my fender. So if I went a 305 tire on here, the chances of me hitting my fender in a bottom out situation and maybe damaging this fender is just something I'm not willing to do. So I might be able to go 285 Nittos in the future when I wear these out, because these are 40 profile tires, and the 285s will be 35 profile, so they'll be a little wider, but they won't be as tall. So I should be able to have that clearance. So a 285 width tire may work better than this 275, but that'll just have to be in the future, and we'll have to see. So with that said, like and subscribe. If you like my videos, if I'm bringing you good content, just gets more people to see my videos, and that's what it's all about. It's not about making money and trying to make a name for myself, even though it's fun to do this stuff. And I really appreciate y'all tuning in. And man, I love people that comment, and we'll go from there. So catch you on the next video.